All 2 Men in a Truck drivers are required to complete a daily vehicle inspection report prior to leaving the franchise. This is to ensure the safe operating condition of the motor vehicle prior to entering the public roadways. The requirements for a daily vehicle inspection report are outlined in Section 396 of the Federal Motor Carrier Safety Administration, or FMCSA, regulations. This video will give you an overview of the inspection process and paperwork. Each 2 Men in a Truck driver must understand and comply with the federal regulations. As always, before starting any day at 2 Men in a Truck, drivers should begin tracking their time in their logbooks prior to beginning their daily vehicle inspection reports. For more information on completing a logbook, contact your manager or visit Stickman University on the Hub. Regulations on logbooks can be found in Section 395 of the FMCSA regulations. All 2 Men in a Truck drivers per Section 396 of the FMCSA regulations should complete a proper inspection before leaving the franchise to ensure the safe operation of the motor vehicle. Once the driver has been assigned their motor vehicle, they should be looking at the general appearance of the motor vehicle while approaching it in the parking lot. Items that the drivers should be looking for are structural damage, excessive scratches, 2 Men in a Truck decals, fluids on the pavement. They should also be checking that the tires are inflated and that the wheels are chocked, and that the vehicle is secured for safe inspection. If the driver notices anything during the initial approach, they should investigate it closer and note those items on the DVIR. Depending on the franchise, the DVIR booklet and/or paperwork may be located in a different spot, but at most locations, these booklets should be located inside the motor vehicle. After the initial approach of the motor vehicle, the driver must review the prior driver's inspection inside the booklet. After reviewing the prior driver's inspection, the driver should sign on the reviewing driver line in the booklet if the vehicle is in safe operating condition. The law requires that the reviewing driver only sign if there is a defect noted. Some franchises may require that the reviewing driver sign daily regardless of defects noted. If there was a defect noted on the prior driver's inspection, the reviewing driver should only sign if it contains a signature from a mechanic or manager stating the defect was fixed. If there is no signature from a mechanic or manager, the driver should see their manager before completing their inspection or driving the vehicle. The driver should never sign under the reviewing driver's signature line unless they are satisfied that the vehicle is in safe operating order. Once the driver has completed their review of the prior driver's report, they should then begin their physical inspection of the motor vehicle. At this point, the driver can make notes of any items noticed during the initial walk-up to the motor vehicle. Be sure to turn the headlights on and check the 4-way flashers. When checking the front of the truck, start at the top with clearance lights and work your way down. Again, the driver should look for the items that they were looking for on their initial walk-up. On top of the cab, check the marker lights. All lights must be in working order and ensure bulbs are not burned out. The 4-ways should be flashing and the lens covers should be fastened and secured with no cracks or breaks. When checking the windshield, ensure that it is clear of obstructions, including the dash, and there are no cracks or chips. Inspect the windshield wipers by checking that they are mounted, fastened, and secured. They must be in working order and the rubber blade must not be torn. When checking the bumper, ensure that it is mounted, fastened, and secure. Be sure that it's in good working order and that it's there. Confirm there are no leaks at the front of the truck by looking on the pavement or ground under the truck. Next, check the front wheel on the driver's side, the left front wheel. Inspect the tire by completing the following. Use a tire club to ensure there is adequate pressure in the tire. Kicking the tire is not sufficient. Ensure there's 4 32nd-inch tread depth. You should use a tread depth gauge or utilize wear bars on the tire. Inspect the sidewall of the tire, inside and outside of the tire. The sidewall should be free of bulges, cracks, or any damage. Next, inspect the lug nuts to ensure all are tight and free of rust streaks. The front axle hub should have no leaks and have enough oil by viewing through the sight glass or opening the rubber plug to verify there is oil. This should not be done at the end of the day because the oil will be hot and dangerous to check. Next, check the mirrors on the driver's side. Ensure that they are mounted, fastened, and secure. Also check that no glass is cracked or missing. Next, check to make sure the following markings are on the driver's side door: the 2 men in a truck graphics, the US DOT number, the MC number if applicable. Also, keep in mind that state identifiers are regulated, so be sure to ask your manager if you are unsure. Move to inspecting the fuel tank. Check that it is mounted, fastened, and secure. Ensure the saddles are tight and that the tank has not moved. Finally, ensure that the cap is tight and not leaking. When checking the driver's side steps into the cab, be sure that they are mounted, fastened, and secure, and that there is no extreme damage. Now you are ready to check the batteries. Depending on the make of the vehicle, the battery could be located on the passenger side of the truck. Ensure that it is mounted, fastened, and secure. Rust may be around the battery if they are outside of the box. Check that there is no corrosion on the top of the batteries. Ensure that the battery terminals are corrosion-free. These are located at the top of the battery under the inspection cover. Check the cabling for any signs of melted wires. Melted wires would be black. Inspection covers must be fastened properly after inspection. Next, check the DEF, or diesel exhaust fluids. Be sure that it is mounted, fastened, and secure, and that the cap is on tight and not leaking. Refer to DEF operating instructions normally located above the driver's sun visor. Inspect the DEF per manufacturer's recommendations, and for additional questions, please see your manager. Move to the driver's side of the motor vehicle. Inspect the aluminum rail at the bottom of the box. You must have no rivets and ensure that it's not cut or broken. This is a structural piece that holds the box together. Next, check under the box on the driver's side. Inspect that the piece of wood along the frame and the box is mounted, fastened, and secure, and that there are no cracks or rotting in the wood. Check that all U-bolts that are holding the box to the frame are tight and not missing. Also be sure nuts have not moved. Inspect the frame for any structural damage like broken welds, cracks, and missing bolts. The frame must also be free from any wires hanging or not fastened. Finally, check the cross members and the flooring of the box. Move to the rear axle on the driver's side. Inspect for leakage under the rear differential and ensure no leakage from the rear brakes. Complete a visual inspection of brake linings and drums. Also, inspect brake hoses and tubing to ensure they are mounted, fastened, and secured, not leaking or rotting. When checking the air brakes, listen for audible leaks of air. Ensure air chambers are mounted, fastened, and secure with no cracks. Like the front tires, check the rear tires for duals. Check between them to make sure there is no debris. Once you are ready to move to the back of the truck, check the condition of the clearance lights at the top. The mover should step on the brake lights and the driver should verify that they are working. Ensure the license plate light is working and make sure the license plate is there, properly secured, and visible, with no expired items noted. Inspect the rear doors to verify that they do work properly. Check for leaks into the box from the doors and check that they are sealed properly. When inside the box, check for any leaks and also ensure that the floor is in good condition. Next, inspect the liftgate. Ensure the operating instructions are on the side of the truck. If they are missing, contact your manager. Ensure the liftgate is operating properly, check hydraulics for leaks, and verify that the tubing is fastened and secured. When inspecting the ramp, first check to ensure that the handles used to pull out the ramp are not damaged. Inspect the ramp to see if it is secured properly with a latch. Bungees, ratchet straps, and chains are not acceptable. Ensure that the ramp is not damaged. If it is a Melcher ramp, there must be pins on the ramp to attach to the back of the truck while moving. Check that the rear bumper is mounted, fastened, and secured. Verify that it is not bent excessively and ensure required reflective markings are in place. Move to the rear axle on the passenger side. This is the same inspection as the driver's side. Ensure the drive shaft is secured properly and check the U-joints to ensure all 4 bolts are in place. Inspect under the box on the passenger side. Again, this is the same inspection as the driver's side. Also, check the exhaust system to ensure that it is mounted, fastened, and secured. Ensure that all hangers are fastened to the frame and to the exhaust. The exhaust must be free from leaks or damage. Do not check at the end of the day when this is hot because it is dangerous. Inspect the side of the motor vehicle on the passenger side, the same as the driver's side. Inspect the passenger steps, the same as you did the driver's side. Move on to check the following vehicle markings on the passenger side door: the 2 Men in a Truck graphic, the US DOT number, the MC number if applicable. Also, remember that state identifiers are regulated, so be sure to ask your manager for more information. Inspect the window glass on the passenger side door. Ensure that no glass is cracked or missing and that it is working for adequate backing and potential roadside inspections, way stations, and emergency vehicles. Next, verify that the mirrors on the passenger side are mounted, fastened, and secure. Also check that no glass is cracked or missing. Move to the front wheel on the passenger side, the right front wheel. Inspect the tire, the same as you did the front left tire. Next, open the hood. Ensure the following fluid levels are in normal operating range: coolant, washer solvent, power steering fluid, brake fluid if applicable, engine oil, and transmission fluid. The transmission fluid should be checked while the truck is at normal operating temperature. This should not be done at the end of the day. Complete a visual inspection of the engine, looking for leaks of oil or other fluids or burnt or melted wiring harnesses. Check that the clutch fan is fastened securely, not cracked, and that it is in working order as outlined by the manufacturer. Inspect all belts to ensure they are not cracked, frayed, or dry rotted, or less than ½ inch of deflection. All hoses must be tight and free from cracks, bulges, and dry rotting. Ensure that the radiator is free from debris such as bugs that have built up. In addition to inspecting the working condition of the vehicle, all drivers should ensure they have the following paperwork in their vehicle before leaving: insurance documentation, vehicle registration, annual inspection vehicle form, safety equipment. Required items include mounted fire extinguisher, spare fuses, and emergency triangles. Trip permits if applicable. If a driver does not have one or more of these items, they should contact their manager before leaving the franchise. Most importantly, a driver should never leave their franchise without the following driver documents in their possession: driver's license, medical card, road test certification. As the mover and driver are loading items into the truck, it's important to make sure the truck is packed properly according to the FMCSA regulations and 2 Men in a Truck procedures. Appropriate cargo securement is required by law. For more information on loading and unloading a truck, visit Stickman University on the hub. When the driver is done for the day, she or he must complete the remainder of their inspection paperwork. By law, the paperwork needs only to be signed if there is a vehicle defect identified, but franchise policies could be stricter and require drivers to sign and turn in the DVIRs daily, regardless of if a defect was noted. Be sure to check with your manager to see what your franchise's process is. Once the driver has confirmed that all paperwork is complete, they should turn their paperwork into their franchise based on their franchise policy. Many franchises have a drop box where drivers can put their paperwork at the end of their workday. If drivers do not return to their franchise at the end of their day, they should attach their completed inspection to that day's paperwork and turn it in when they return to the franchise. There are many important aspects of the daily vehicle inspection process. If you have questions, be sure to ask your manager or reach out to DOT Compliance at 2men.com.